This is from John. He has been boiled in oil for the witness of Messiah. He is exiled on the Isle of Patmos, and he is taken away in the Spirit to the day of the Lord, the day of Yahovah. And he is given a message to write this to the seven Kehillah. And we strain not to use the word church, because William Tyndale only used the word church twice when he translated the New Testament, and both times in reference to pagan temples. Okay? It's the Kehillah, it's the assemblies, it's the congregations, and we then see that John was taken by revelation and he sees Yeshua, and we have to read this very quickly. I turned to see the voice that spoke with me, and when I turned, I saw, in verse 12, 7 golden lampstands. In the midst of these lampstands, I saw one who appeared like to be the Son of Man, clothed with a haluk down to his feet and girded about with a golden sash. His hair and his beard were like wool, white as snow, his eyes like a flaming fire. His feet looked like polished brass that had been refined in a furnace. His voice was like the sound of roaring oceans. In his right hand he had 7 stars, and the words out of his mouth cut like a sharp two-edged sword. His face burned brighter than the strength of the sun, and when I saw him, I fell at his feet like a dead man. He laid his right hand on me and said, "Fear not. I am the first and the last. I am he who was dead and now lives. Behold, I am alive forevermore, and I have the keys to death and the grave." And then he said, "Write the things which you've just seen, and the things which are now, and the things that shall be in the future." And that is the outline of the book of Revelation. What did he just see? He saw Yeshua in all of his glory. He's not an 8-pound, 6-ounce baby. He has got fire in his eyes, and he has got something to say, and we are now going to see, because he says, the significance of those stars you saw in my right hand, and these lampstands, the 7 stars are the messengers of the 7 Kehillah, the 7 assemblies. And the lampstands are those 7 assemblies. In other words, I'm walking among them, I see what's going on, and these messengers are in my hand, and they are going to be given a message to give to you, because you need to know what's going to happen in the day of Yahovah. So we begin with the first letter to Ephesus. Now, we're going to see in each one of these letters, there is the authority by which Yohanan is speaking this. Then, after the authority, is the praise. Then there is a grievance. You know, you've been doing a good job, but we need to sit down and have a little chat right now, because you're messing up. And then there's a warning. If you don't straighten out, this is what's going to happen. And then there's the counsel of what to do about it. And then, finally, the promise, where he takes us all the way to the end of the book of Revelation to show us that all the gloom, all the tragedy, all the bloodshed will be worth all the rays of ravishing light and glory at the end. That it is all worth it. And that is what each one of these letters do. So let's start to Ephesus. To the messenger of the Kehillah at Ephesus write, "These things saith he who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks in the midst of the 7 golden lampstands." See, that's his authority. What is he referring back to? The very image of Yeshua, who has the stars in his right hand and walks among the assemblies. In other words, you're not going to fool him with anything. You don't see him right now, but he sees you. He knows what's going on. There is nothing that you are doing, and I don't care what you think you're telling your congregation. I don't care what you think you're pulling over on other people. I see what's going on, and I am going to call you on it. Verse 2. "I know your works and your labors and your endurance, and how you cannot bear those who are evil. You have tried those who claim to be apostles, but are not, and you have found them to be liars. You have endured patiently, and you have labored in my name and have not fainted. But this you have to your credit, another praise. You hate the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate. Now, I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Why no one teaches the doctrine of the Nicolaitans is because the entire Christian church is built on the doctrine of the Nicolaitans. It's witchcraft. It is manipulation and intimidation, and even the Hebrew roots movement is rife with it. Why don't they tell you about it? Because they don't know what it is. Why? Because they are Nicolaitans. They are false apostles. They will manipulate and intimidate you. They will gather you together in nice little flocks where they can fleece you at will by proclaiming to have the word of the Lord for you. Man, you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it. See, I'm here to deliver you from religious deception. I know what it's all about. I was in a great cult at one time. Great control exercised over the people. Masters at it. And it's because I prayed at a young age. I said, Lord, I want to know what the doctrine of the Nicolaitans is. You hate it. I want to know what it is. I've lived through it, and I know what it is, and I can help other people to stand out from this. But we have got to listen to what Yeshua says. First of all, the deeds of the Nicolaitans, it's what they do. That comes out of their doctrine. They're actually going to teach it, but first they're going to exercise this illegal authority over you. Nico in Greek is conqueror. Nike, the goddess of victory. Nike, conqueror. Laity, Nicolaitan, conqueror of the people. And this is what we again will go right to the chronological Gospels. It is a systematic subjugation of the people under a hierarchical, authoritarian religious system. This dictatorial ploy was circumvented by Yeshua when James and John used their mother's emotional plea in an attempt to secure themselves a Nicolaitan position among their fellow disciples. Now, last week, we went into that very incident. Yeshua is coming up from Perea, not Perea up north, but down the Dead Sea Valley. He's going up toward Jericho. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing from him. He said, what do you want? See, in the Greek, it's got the edge on it. She comes up and bows down to him and says, what do you want, woman? What are you up to? She's got her son, James and John, his disciples in tow. What do you want? And he said, and she replied, oh, grant that these two sons of mine here may sit on your left hand and on your right hand when you enter your kingdom. Yeshua said, you know not what you ask. You have no idea what you're asking. And then he turned to James and John. Get over here. Are you able to drink of the cup that I'm going to drink of? Are you able to be mikvahed with the mikvah, baptized with the baptism I'm going to be baptized with? And they said, we're able, sir. We're able. And he said, okay, boys, you're on. You're on. But to sit on my left and my right-hand side, you can forget it right now. It's not even mine to give. See, Yeshua, at this point, does not have all authority and all power delivered to him. There are things that only the Father knows that he doesn't know. But now he says that it will be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. And now, when the other 10 heard what was going on, they were moved with indignation against the two brothers, and so Yeshua called them and said, and we're going to stop right here, because now is the big lesson. They were moved to indignation. They were moved to envy because of what this power play produces in the minds and hearts of the followers of the Messiah. They were attempting to make a Nicolaitan power play to get at the top, because once you take Yeshua's right and left hand, then all you have left is James and John's right and left hands. When those positions are filled, then you have the right and left hands of those under them. And so you begin building the Nicolaitan hierarchy that will conquer and destroy the people, and everyone on the bottom can't listen to the voice of the Almighty because they've got to kiss the tuchus of the person up the Nicolaitan ladder up above them. And this is the very thing the Gentiles have been doing in exercising dominion over each other. Yeshua said, it's not going to be done in my kingdom. We are in Matthew chapter 20, verse 17, when James and John, with the help of their mommy, makes an end run, hoping to get James and John to be on the right and left hand of Yeshua when he enters into his kingdom. Now, verse 24, when the other 10 heard of what was going on, they were moved with indignation against the two brothers. So Yeshua called them to him and said, you know that the Gentiles have princes that exercise dominion over them. Over them. NICOLAITAN. Okay, exercise dominion, authority over the people. And there are great ones who exercise authority over the princes. But it shall not be so among you. This is not the way we are going to do it. Whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister. Whoever will be a prince among you must be a servant. The Son of Man came not to be ministered to, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. If you are going to do it in my kingdom, you're going to do it my way. If you don't like it, Peter, you can pack your trash, move to Rome, and become the first pope. Wait. No, it doesn't say that. Okay. But this is what he's talking about. This Nicolaitan, okay, so you've got these princes that exercise authority over the people, and then you've got great ones, the cosmocratorос, the world rulers who exercise the authority over them. So the people down here are subjected to the people over them. This is what Yeshua hates. He wants to speak to you. He wants to be your head. He doesn't want some other head over you. Whose covering are you under? You're under the covering of the Messiah. That is who your covering is. No unauthorized covering allowed. Yeshua is your head. And when you put another person as your head, you are disdaining your head. This is what I detailed this in the 2-hour video, Who is Your Unauthorized Covering? Exposing the doctrine and the deeds of the Nicolaitans. And see, this is exactly what we've got. I mean, Rome's such a great example. You've got the Pope, and then you've got the people immediately under him that give commands to the College of Cardinals. And then you've got all the way right down to the people, and the ones down here, I mean, in one archdiocese, in California, they have over 5,000 registered pedophile priest. And who are they abusing? The laity. Ladies and gentlemen, question authority. Question authority. All of my daughters got in trouble in school for questioning authority. They came home and I gave them a round of applause. Always question authority. Think for yourself. If someone tells you something so, don't believe them. All men are liars. Remember that. So, now, I want to go back because, see, this is how religious systems develop. And you get people that will kowtow to the people over them, and they want to climb the ladder of success too. James and John aren't the only ones that want to be at the top. Everyone wants to be at the top. So how do you get up to the top? You climb over everybody else. This is what Yeshua said. Don't be called rabbi. Don't call any man rabbi. And why does he say it? Because this is a title of nobility. As soon as you call somebody rabbi, you're putting them up here and you are down here. You have put somebody over you other than the Messiah. Yeshua is your head. His head is Yehovah. It's by action. This is the first deed that you pull. After this, then you've got to develop a doctrine. Rabbi is Rav, or Great One. And in the chronological Gospels, I go into great detail on this very issue, Because when Yeshua says, don't call any man rabbi, he means it. Titles of nobility. I mean, this is what, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the Senate of Congress, accept any present, enrollment, office, title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state. What is this talking about? Is that all men are created equal. There are to be no titles of nobility in this country. James Madison, at the time a member of the House of Representatives, declared that the pretentious European titles of nobility were ill-suited for the genius of the people of America and the nature of our government, because all men are created equal. This is what Yeshua taught. No, you don't call any man rabbi. You don't put anyone above you. You don't call anyone. Let's see what else he said. He said, don't call any man, let's read it. Don't allow anyone to call you rabbi, because you have had just one great one Rav, Messiah, and you are all brothers. The 10 that were moved with indignation, because you had 2 trying to climb the ladder, trying to be some big person up here. You should have said, no, the princes of this earth, they exercise dominion and authority over each other. But this is not the way it's going to be. You want to be great, you get underneath and you raise everyone else to walk in the fullness and stature of Messiah. You want to be a prince, serve everybody else. I'm the Messiah. I didn't come to be served. I came to serve. We're in verse 9 of Matthew 23. Do not call any man your father upon the earth. Nothing wrong with calling your father, father. But we're talking about men over you, calling them your father, their spiritual father. He's your big authority. No, your big authority is the Messiah. You better be listening to him. If you can't hear his voice because you're listening to some kind of BS from somebody who says they're your head and they've got some kind of spiritual clout over you, tell them to go to hell. Because that's the only place they're going. He hates it. Yeshua hates it. He hates it. He hates it. He has a passion. He hates it. Now may the Lord his blessing to the reading of his holy word. Do not allow anyone, verse 10, to call you the teacher. For there's one who is the teacher, Messiah. It's me. You guys are all idiots. That's what he's saying. You're all on the same level. There's no big hotshot here. Oh, what does he say? He that is greatest among you shall be your servant. He says it again. He who exalts himself shall be abased. He who humbles himself in service to others will be exalted. You exalt yourself, God will humble you. You humble yourself, and you will be exalted. You try doing it the other way. That's what Ananias and Sapphira tried. They saw that this Levite, who had a parcel of land, which is illegal for a Levite to own, sold the land, laid all the money at the apostles' feet, and he was welcomed into the inner circle of the apostles. Why? He's a trained Levite. He knows the Torah. He's been raised with it, but he's out of fellowship with the Most High because he has violated this. He's not supposed to own this land. He sells it. So what does Ananias and Sapphira see? Wow, they accepted him right in. Hey, we got this parcel of land. I think if we sell it for $100,000, tell them we sold it for $50,000, we still got 50 in the bank, and we'll be in the inner circle too. Peter said, why do you tempt the Holy Spirit to lie? You're dead. You're dead. And he died. Ananias and Sapphira both died because they were pretending. They weren't the real thing. Now, continue on. Where shall we continue on? Nobility, an order of men, this is a dictionary, an order of men in several countries to whom privileges are granted at the expense of the rest of the people. Beautiful. Titles of nobility. Don't call any man rabbi. Don't call him father. Don't call him the teacher. You know, you're all on the same level here. We submit to each other, but it's limited subjection. You know, at any time. Peggy's husband could say, Peggy, this guy's nuts. We're out of here. And guess what? Darren and Peggy are out of here. You know, it's not, you know, well, the Lord told me that you're supposed to sit in our congregation for the rest of your life. No, anyone tells you that, immediately get up and leave. Don't wait for the next Just As I Am to be sung. America's fundamental idea that all men are created equal, that no one is superior to another by title or class, exactly what Yeshua taught. That's the genius of the people, because we will obey the Scripture. If you find yourselves in a Nicolaitan hierarchy, get out of there. That is the word of Yeshua. He hates the deeds of the Nicolaitans, the doctrine of the Nicolaitans that they use to incarcerate people and enslave them and get them to do their will and not his will. He hates with a vengeance. See, he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, pastors, teachers for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Messiah, till we all come in the fullness and stature of Messiah. If you want to be a prince in the kingdom, then you must minister. You must get underneath everyone else and raise them up. An apostle, is the one that cleans the toilets if the toilets need to be cleaned. He's the one that washes the disciples' feet, which in this generation, there's no equivalent of washing feet. You know, we're not walking around in sandals on dirty roads, but we do have toilets that need to be cleaned. Apostles get the job done that needs to be done. They are not the ones that wear the three-piece suit and are the exalted positions, and everyone, apostle this, and rabbi this, and clergy that, and the right reverend so-and-so this and that. No, that is Nicolaitanism. Those who want to be the one serving the king must get underneath and raise everyone up until we all walk in the fullness and stature of Messiah. And when we do, we will all be servants. And when we completely sell out, then we will be the doulos, the bond slaves of Yahovah. And that is to whom this book, the book of the Revelation, is written.